Alright, I'm going to put another little video up. It'll be fairly short. While I was putting the other videos up today, the postman called and he had a great big parcel, and in it was these two lamps. Now, don't ask me much about them. I simply don't know. They're not mine. They belong to Alec. As I say, I was going to find out whether he wanted me to actually put these up on YouTube, but he hasn't come back to me, so I thought, blow it, I'm going to put it on YouTube. He didn't mind the other one I put up, so hopefully he won't mind this one being put up. I must admit, I felt a bit apprehensive when I received the parcel. I was told by another friend that they are packed very well, and they were. I took it out of the package. I shake the box first just to see if I could hear any tinkling noises, and I didn't, so I thought, well, they're okay. So I took them out. They were beautifully packed, as I say, and the two lamps that you can see, we've got a U-shaped fluorescent and this big one, and it is big, believe me. As far as I know, it works on three-phase electric. As I said earlier, I don't really go into discharge lamps. This is certainly a discharge lamp. It's a mercury vapour. In fact, you can see the little beads of mercury in the arc tube. The lamp is Russian. As I say, it's three-phase. I was told what the voltage was that ran it. It was pretty high. They also said what it was used for, but I'm going to let Alec explain that when he takes his lamp back home. I've kept the box that it arrived in, so when they take it home from here, they can use that box and really pack it well, because it would be a disaster if this was broken, because believe me, it wasn't cheap. But there again, it's a collector's item, so you know, you expect to have to pay a little bit over the top, and really it's an investment. And when you think the price of this can only go up, the end's in two wires, which you can see. You've got two wires going in each end, and one of them joins up to one of the electrodes on one end of the arc tube. You can see the electrode there, see the end. On the other end, you've got two more wires. Once again, one connects up to the electrode, the other end of the arc tube. Now you're left with two other wires. Well, okay, that's where they go to. You've got an auxiliary electrode there, and further along, connected to the other end, you've got another electrode. As far as I know, these aid actual starting of the lamp, because when you think that is a pretty long arc tube, and I bet it pushes out a lot of light. I don't know how these were used previously. They look as if they have been used in the past. They're really for a collector. Knowing Alec, he will probably try and succeed in getting these working. I know he's got that kind of brain. He's a very inquiring brain, and let's face it, I would have probably done the same at his age. Now, to me, it's just a collector's item, but I think he might well get this working. If he does get it working, it'll be nice to see it working when I visit him later in the year. Well, that's the lamp. Now let me tell you a little bit about the blade. Don't ask me to read it out because it's in Russian. Now the first thing we see is that, and as you all know now, this is the trademark of the Moscow Electric Lamp Company, Melz. I showed it on the neon lamps. I've showed it on other lamps. So if you see that on a lamp, you know it's Russian, and you know it's generally good quality. And obviously they specialised in special lamps, because this is a special lamp. This write-up came with it, and it obviously gives you dimensions of the lamp and connections. This represents the arc tube and the contacts where they go to. Contacts 1 and 2 being at that end. Contacts 3 and 4 at that end. We can turn it over. There we've got a diagram there showing 220 380 volts. It obviously goes through some device that steps the voltage up, like a ballast or a choke. You see the picture of it there. You've got a set of contacts at S, and that shows you how to connect it up. So Alec, you haven't got far to look. There's the diagram there. What the parts are, I don't know, but I know you'll get it working. All the rest is in typical what's the word? In Russian, to make it easy. It's probably possible to have it translated if you use Google Translate, I think. But there we are. That is the paper that came with it. I actually cheated. I took a copy of that, so I've got a copy of that. So when he takes it, you take the original copy with the lamp. Unfortunately, I can't take a copy of the lamp. I'd like to. It'd be nice in my collection, but no, I've got to draw the line somewhere, and I tend to specialise in filamented lamps and the old ones. Well, this is old, but it's interesting. I will say that it's interesting, and well, as long as it's in one of our collections, either his or mine, because the collections are eventually going to merge. They're slowly leaving lamps from here. It's taken over years, and they're going to go to Alec's collection over the period of quite a few years. I said before, I intend to reach 100 plus. So there we are. Now the other one is another Russian. It's a U-shaped tube. It's probably different dimensions to the European and American U-shaped tubes, but nevertheless it's an interesting item. It's obviously brand new. Let me show you the maker. Let's put it round the right way. You won't be able to read what it says. Well, I don't think so. Unless you're Russian, you will. Be very careful. Don't want to break anything that's not mine. There's what is on the end of the tube. I understand that first sign is a trademark of the company that made this lamp. It wasn't made by Melz, but it's correct. Cyrillic, that's the name. Cyrillic writing, or Russian writing on there. So that in itself is quite interesting. And you've got the arrangement of the bipins. And that is the actual lamp. It's a U-shaped lamp, which is unusual. It's unusual being Russian. And if anyone's interested, these came from a seller in Moscow. And you know, it's worth having a look to see what else she has for sale on her site. This is quite interesting. As I said before, they're not cheap, but when I say they're not cheap, they're an investment. There's certain investments you don't expect to get for a song. It's, as I've always said, it's money in the bank, and that is what is intended here, and also for the collection. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. Any questions you've got on this, please direct them to my good friend Alex, because I will be honest, I do not know much about these lamps. I've talked about it and said how they're wired up. Hopefully it's correct, but any in-depth information, Alex is the person who will know. And as I said before, he will get these working. I know that for a fact. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. Whether he knows I've put this up, I don't know. I wasn't going to put it up. I was going to have a word with Alex, but he's obviously hasn't come back to me yet. So I thought, well, I'm not going to wait any longer. It's going on YouTube, and that's exactly what I've done. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. And as I say, any questions, direct them to Alex Lightning, as his name is on YouTube, or Alex on lighting, the lighting gallery. Be nice to put this on lighting gallery as well, but unfortunately I'm having trouble putting stuff on that from YouTube, so I'll probably ask Alex if he'll put it on. He puts them on. There don't seem to be any problems, so I've obviously got problems with my server, or whatever it's called. Anyhow, I've talked enough, so I'm going to clear down now. Thank you all for putting up with my voice, and thanks again for watching. Thank you.